Ladies and gentlemen, you have reached the last lesson in your 4th grade math book, Chapter 14, Lesson 10. How are different ideas about geometry connected? And today we're going to be drawing lines of symmetry. A figure has line symmetry if it can be folded over a line so that one half of the figure matches the other half. This fold line is called the line of symmetry. So just a little fun project that you can do with line of symmetry is you can take a paper and you can fold it, and it doesn't matter if you fold it this way or this way. I'm going to do both, and then you can cut out some shapes on this, and I've just cut this shape. The fold point is here, so this is a folded line and this is a folded line, and I just cut kind of a wavy shape around the outside. You can cut on the folded line, just don't cut the folded line completely out. And then when I open it up, you'll see the shape is the same here and here and here and here. So these folds represent the lines of symmetry in this shape, and each section is a rotated version of the same, rotated or slid version of the same thing. And unfortunately I can't zoom out far enough to show you the whole thing, but trust me, and it's a fun project you can do. If you've ever made snowflakes, this is the same kind of thing. You're just making lines of symmetry on the piece of paper. And it is a geometry activity. I bet you didn't remember that part. For example, determine whether the sign if it does, draw the lines of symmetry on the figure. Okay, so determine if the figure has line symmetry. So looking at the shape, if I cut it in half this way, is it going to be the same? If I cut it in half this way, is it going to be the same? It might have more than one line of symmetry. Be folded vertically, and vertically is going up and down this way, so that the left side is symmetry. Draw a vertical center of the figure. So you're going to use and draw a line through the center. I made it a little off center, but that's how that should be done. Some figures have more than one line of symmetry. The pentagon at the lines of symmetry. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Symmetry. Notice that the arrow ends that are not labeled as the other ends of the arrow. So this one's not labeled because it's the other end of 1. This one's not labeled because it's the other end of 2. That's what that's saying. Some figures do not have any lines of symmetry, and I will show you one of those. This shape here. Doesn't matter how I split it, it's not going to be the same. I can split it from the corner. You can see this side is clearly not the same as that. I can split it its way. You can clearly see that this and this are not the same. I can try and split it way. Still not the same. So there are no lines of symmetry in this particular shape. In example 2, it has you circle the figures that have lines of symmetry. So the ones that do, you're going to leave out the ones that don't. And on the ones that you've circled, please draw all the lines of symmetry. So remember, they may have more than one, and you're going to have to draw all the ones that you can see. Some shapes have several, so pay attention to that. Just because you found one doesn't necessarily mean you're done. List the figures that have the lines of symmetry and draw the lines on those. Okay. Determine whether each figure has line symmetry. If it does, draw the line of symmetry. So if it doesn't, you're just going to leave it. If it does, please draw the line. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip on this one. 2 of them do not. So on 2 of these, you're just going to put no. And 1 of them has 5 lines of symmetry. So as you're finding your lines of symmetry, one of these shapes will have 5 of them. So make sure you find that one. Okay, now down here you're circling the figures that have line symmetry and cross out the figures that do not. I'll give you a little clue on that one. You have an equal number of shapes that have line symmetry, and the same number do not have a line of symmetry. So that'll help you. You should find the same number for not having symmetry. Now this one, I'm hoping that because they line for you, you can see pretty clearly whether the line they've drawn is a line of symmetry. If you were to fold the shape on that line, would it match on both sides of the fold? So I'm going to write as yes or no on those ones. Okay, so on the problem solving, number 17, they're not just talking about the shape on this side and the word. So if you would this shape have line symmetry, yes or no? It would have a line of symmetry, but it's talking about the whole sign, so pay attention to that. If you have a shape, you get to mirror it on this side to make this be a line of symmetry. So you're going to extend the pattern onto the flip side of this, and then the lower part of this to make another shape, so that such that if I fold, the two shapes would match up perfectly. So that's kind of a fun arty one to do. Draw an object that shows line symmetry and an object that does not show line symmetry. Circle the object that shows line symmetry. And just for fun, I drew my own shape. So one of these does have lines of symmetry and one of them does not. And hopefully you see pretty clearly which one is which. Name a subject other than math in which symmetry is important. So think about when in your life it might be important to understand symmetry and write that explanation down here. And we'll talk about that when we correct together. Thanks for working hard. Congratulations! After you've spent your hour on this lesson, you have finished the 4th grade math book. Good job! Woohoo!